Hey, it's Rick with Rock Bottom Outreach. It's Real Talk Wednesday. I want to talk about two words, glory and honor. Essentially, when we use the word glory, it talks about a very accurate reflection in the mirror of someone. Is to glorify that perfection, that reflection, and meaning this, like if we glorify God, is it that the way we live our life, is it an accurate reflection and image of God? Okay, there you go. And then obviously, by glorifying God and then honoring God, those are two words that are very, very similar, to honor and to glorify. But I mainly really do want to talk about glorifying today. And before I get into this tough topic and ask some hard questions, let me be clear that Rick Smith is not perfect. And there are things I still struggle with. But what a lot of people don't know, there is a board that I'm held accountable to, and I have some very close brothers called Rock Bottom Outreach Brothers that I'm also held accountable to. And in the event, if I mess up or I do something wrong, then I'm held accountable to them, and at times maybe have to make a call and say, hey, I messed up. I've messed up, and I apologize. And so as painful as it is, it's very important that we have accountability in our life. And because if we don't, a lot of times, we can get so far out there, it's not even funny. And so in a way that can be a good thing. And so today I'm going to be kind of your accountability partner. And because I'm going to ask you some tough questions and they may be uncomfortable. But, again, we're talking about glory and honor. Let me read out of Revelations 1:27 first, where it says, God created a man in his own image. So we're talking about glory again. In the image of God, he created him. Again, we're still talking about glorifying. Male and female, he created them. Okay? And so, essentially, we're talking about that image again. That man is supposed to reflect the image of God. And I'm going to get right down to it. And I'm going to challenge you with this, and you might want to get out a piece of paper, because let me tell you, maybe there's something holding you back in your life that you're just not in right standing with God. Maybe there's something you struggle with, and we all struggle with something, but I am going to ask you this, and it's almost yes-no questions. Do you glorify God in the way you dress? Do you glorify God in the language you use? Do you glorify God in the jokes that you tell? Do you glorify God in the things you look at on the internet late at night? Do you glorify God in the things that you read? Do you glorify God in the things that you tell your friends? Do you glorify God in the things you watch at the theater? Do you glorify God in the jokes that you tell? That's one. Do you glorify God in the way you treat your wife? Do you glorify God in the way that you treat your children? Do you glorify God when you go to church? And let me point this out real quick. Is you're not glorifying God by fronting at church. Let me break that to you. That you're trying to glorify yourself and the people in there sometimes by fronting. And to front means to put on a fake exterior is what we're talking about versus just being yourself. And here's my point. If you're sad, it's okay to be sad. Jesus wept. So if you go to church and you feel like crying, cry. But when people say, hey, how are you? And you say, fine, and you're really not, it's not God honoring. You're not really being honest. You're not even being honest with yourself, if that makes sense. You need to understand this, is that, man, we strive to be the best a lot of times, man, in being bodybuilding, the Super Bowl, whatever it is, man, and we do whatever it takes. And a lot of times we got to tighten up the reins in certain areas in our life because we're just not getting to the top. And that's my question. For you to get where you want to go, to be in right standing with God, the questions I asked you, you've got to ask yourself. You have to take a personal evaluation, look in the mirror, are you glorifying God in these areas of your life? Let me tell you, it's painful, but it's necessary. At the end of every day, you need to do a personal evaluation and assessment of some things that maybe you need to work on a little bit more. Hey, and we're talking about Rick Smith too. Like I said, hey, I'm telling you, I ain't perfect. Man, we all need accountability in our life. But hey, tighten up those reins. It's about glorifying the Father, not ourselves. It's Rick with Rock Bottom Outreach. It's been Real Talk Wednesday. Bam!